Hi there, I'm John. Obviously, you're on my YouTube channel watching this. Today I'm going to show you how to solve the 4x4 cube here. I'm going to try and do it all the way through. And the way I'm going to do it is, well, first of all, I'm going to assume that you already know how to solve a 3x3. And if you don't know how to solve a 3x3, I have a tutorial on that. You can check it out at findyourfire.co.uk/solve the cube. And I'll put the link to that in the description below. I'll also give link to a video of me on my channel here where I do a sort of 12-minute run through of how that solve works the way I do it, and also a 60-second version of that so you can see how quick it can be done using my method. It is different from the way most people do the cube, not least because I start from the top and I work my way down, so that actually I start with the yellow side on top, and then the yellow side is my bottom, as it were. So I work from the top, middle row, and then down to the bottom in my cube solving. But I won't be teaching you that today because I am just teaching you how to do the 4x4. So a couple of things to know about the 4x4 is that the cube itself breaks down basically very similar to the 3x3 in that there is a centerpiece effectively, and there is edge pieces here, which is these two here, and then a corner piece, and the corner piece of course has three colors on it. Excuse this cube, by the way, I got it free from China when I had some of my own cubes made up, so that's why it's got those characters on there, and I've stuck these stickers on myself to make it into a proper 4x4. Yes, so that's how the cube works out. Now the trouble with the 4x4 of course is there's no actual centerpiece. So in order to make sure the colours are in the right order, you have to know what order the colours are on a 3x3. So the way I always remember that on a 3x3 is if I'm holding the white side on the top here, and I've got the red face facing me, I've got the blue over here and the green over here. So I always remember it's white on the top with the yellow on the bottom, the red towards me, and then blue on the right, and then green on the left, and then obviously there's orange around the back there as well. So that's how I always remember it, and that's how I build the 4x4, and you'll see me do that a little bit later on in the demonstration. So the way it's going to work is I'm going to show you the parity, because the other problem is because you haven't got a centerpiece here, and because these two pieces connect up like this, you can sometimes find yourself in a situation where the cross on the bottom can't be solved, or cross on the yellow cross can't be solved. I'm going to show you that in a minute, and how to solve that. It's really annoying because there is an algorithm for that, and you have to learn the algorithm. When I teach people how to do the 3x3, I don't really teach algorithms. It's kind of intuitive way of doing the whole thing, based on one move. But you'll see that if you go to my demos. And the other thing is you can also find that the corners have got. So this is a center parity problem, or an edge parity. I suppose you could say edge parity. Actually, I've called it center parity. And you can also find that the corners don't match up as well, and that's a corner parity, so I'm going to show you that as well in a minute. So I'm going to set those up so that you can see what they look like, and then I'll actually teach you the algorithms a little bit later on. So I have written them like this, just so you can see the sort of notation of this, which will come into play a little bit later on. R is the inner right, so this would be this one here on the cube here. Capital T is the top layer, so the outer top, if you like it. So a little t would be the inner top, for example, and a capital R would be the outer right. And so that L there, little l, is the inner left over here, and then a capital L would be the outer left over here. F, of course, capital F is the front layer, so that's just this one here, or the front outer, in fact. Obviously, front inner would be a little f, which would be that row just there. Etc. etc. So hopefully that makes sense, and I use these little arrows here to make it a little bit more obvious as well. So the arrow is this one here, for example, would be a right inner one turn towards you, and then here right two would be this right side two turns, which is basically so that in this case the this white edge would be around the back here. So a 2 would be like that, so you've gone all the way around like that, so all the way around like that. Okay. So hopefully that will make sense when we come to that a little bit later on, but just to let you know that is coming. Okay, so I'm going to set up the what I call the center parity, or the edge parity, for you, so you can see what that looks like right now. Oh no, first of all, before I do that, kind of just want to show you that about the sort of centers and the edges a little bit more. So I'm going to do this kind of fun pattern that we sometimes do with 3x3s, especially when we're playing with young people. And we get this kind of pattern here, don't we? So, and you can see quite clearly that is the centerpiece there, the green one, and then you've got an edge piece here, which is a nice Ukrainian blue and yellow edge piece there, and then the corner here is white, green, and red in this particular case. Okay, so you can see how that kind of works out, which obviously will be useful later. And the way we solve this was we put the corners, the center pieces together, and put them in the right order, and then match up these edge pieces, and then we just solve it like a normal 3x3 from that point onwards. Although obviously you will then come across the parity problems, which I'm going to show you right now. So I'm going to pause the video, set up the parity, and show you what that looks like. Okay, so I'm not actually going to show you how to solve this just right now. I'm going to put those at the end of the video, and that gives me an opportunity to say that there are links in the description as to how you can skip forward to the various bits of the cube of the solve if you need to see a particular part of how you do certain bits, for example, like when we're doing the edge algorithm and when we're solving the first centerpiece, for example. So I'll put all those links in the descriptions, and if there aren't any links to anything, then just let me know and I'll add them in. Okay, so but you can see right here that this basically a solved cube, as you can see here, white on top, and then but on the yellow on the bottom, you can see that the yellow cross effectively is not solvable. This piece here is flipped around, and if you had this on a 3x3, you would just say that somebody had taken this piece and flipped it around and made it an unsolvable cube, and that's effectively what's happening here. So you've got to fix that problem. But with a 4x4, you can't just take it apart and fix those pieces. Plus, it's part of the solution anyway, part of the solve. So you have to learn how to do that. So I'm going to show you how to do that at the end of the video. Link in the description if you want to jump straight to that part. I'm now going to show you what a corner parity looks like. So when these two pieces are unsolvable, I'll set that up now and so you can see what that looks like. Okay, so I guess it depends how you solve the cube, of course. And if you're a regular 3x3 or a speed cuber, you may not see the cube this way, so I don't really know how to explain it to you guys. But the point being is that if you get to this situation where these corners here are basically unsolvable, but the rest of the cube is solved, like you can see here, then obviously you have a corner parity. Now for me, that in the way I solve these cubes, that would be when this corner, because I would normally be looking for this corner to be yellow if the yellow is on the bottom like that, and then I'd solve the cube from this position here. Or I would be holding it like this, and this would be blue because it's matching the blue on the bottom here. But there's no way to hold this cube such that that bottom right hand unsolved corner matches the bottom color. So this is one of those sort of corner parity situations that I would find myself in when I'm doing the 4x4. And then I'd recognize it and I'd do the corner parity algorithm, which is actually a lot simpler than the corner parity symbol. And it is, oops, sorry, there you go. That's the corner parity. So it's the right inner twice, I've actually got that wrong. That's a capital, that should be a capital T there. It's the top layer twice, and then the top two layers twice. So I shall correct that and fix it obviously in the description below. So yeah, I shall do that right now, in fact. Okay, so that should be there, that little T should actually be a capital T because it's the outer top is what it should be worked there. Okay, so I am now going to mix up this cube and then start to show you how we do the solution. And the way we do this, we'll talk about this in a moment, but we do the center pieces in the correct order, and then we match up the edge pieces, and then we basically have a 3x3 apart from these parity problems. So I've got to solve this parity problem first, and then I'm going to mix up the cube and show you what it looks like. Okay, so see you on the other side. Okay, so not that it really matters too much, but I often find that trying to mix up a cube like this is actually quite tricky. So what I usually do is I'll take the edge two like this, and I'll just rotate those around a few times like that, so they're all kind of mixed up, and then go on another side, and then start doing the outside edges like this. So I just do the edges like this a few times. Now I'm sure there are properly efficient ones, and then I'll just try and make sure that there are no two pieces together, so that it's not very obvious. When you kind of solve it up. So there you go. So there's a green and green left, for example. I'll just try and separate those two. Obviously, I won't get completely married to it and get crazy with it, but as long as I've done that a few times, then I'm fairly satisfied that that's about as mixed up as I like it to be. And then I'll just do some random moves like this sometimes just to make sure it's all properly mixed up. And then I just go and start to solve it. So that's what we're going to do now. So as I said before, looking at a solved 3x3. I put the white piece on the top here, so I solved the white center pieces first. and then I'll solve the red centerpieces, which will be just down here, and then I'll solve the blue centerpieces over here, and then effectively I'll do the orange side, and then the green side around here. Oh, actually, no, sorry, no, that's not true. What I actually do, sorry, is I'll do the white pieces on the top there, and then I'll do the yellow centerpiece on the bottom here, then I'll do the red side, and then blue and green. Now, obviously, if you're actually solving it for speed, then you would look at what's already solved on the cube, and go from there, but I like to do it in order so it's very simple and straightforward, rather than trying to go for speed. Now obviously if you want to go for speed, then there are other videos on the internet that will help you with that. This video is here to show you how the simplest way of solving it so that you can do it without really having to remember anything other than those three algorithms. So the edge matching, the edge parity and the corner parity. Those are the only three extra algorithms you need to learn. Other than that, the 4x4 is basically the same as a 3x3 in that respect. So, and actually even this centerpiece here is actually, it's kind of an intuitive thing, so there's no real algorithms for it, but you'll see that as I go through it anyway. So just grab, there's a white piece right there, okay, and also this is why you kind of need to know how a cube is solved, so you need to have kind of worked with a cube before. But what you want to try and do is match up that white one with another white one. So you can see you've got another white one down here. You see that white one up there. So you obviously want to match those two up, but you want to get them into a pair in the middle. So you want like two white ones like that, for example. And the way you do that is to rotate one of these edges around. Actually, it happens to be set up already for me. So if you see that white one there and then that white one there, you can see that I can just rotate these two like this, and it'll connect those two up. So those two white ones are now connected, all right? Now the temptation, of course, is just to rotate that around like that and then stick that white one into that hole there. I would advise against that when you're first learning how to do this, because what you really want to do is pair that white one up with the other white piece that's supposed to be up here first, and that becomes apparent as to why that's useful later on. So here you go. So you can see this white one here and this white one here. And obviously if I just mix that up there, they won't connect. So what you want to do is line up this white one like this, rotate it around, so that it's in the same position as it would be, if it was matching up with this one here. So this one needs to match up here. So you can see this white one now needs to go. If you rotate it up to that hole effectively, that's the hole you want to put it into. Match that white one up into that hole there. Match those two up, and then you've got them connected. Okay. But what you also want to learn to do is that some of the other parts of the cube might already be solved. So in order to stop messing up the rest of the cube, you just have to reverse whatever you do. So. But actually rotating like the edge here, this top layer like this, doesn't actually mess up anything else on the cube. So I'm going to connect up those two white ones like this. You can see I'm rotating the two right-hand side pieces here. And then I rotate those two that were there around to this side here, like this. So there you go. You can see those two white ones are now here on this right-hand side. And then I want to bring these two back, okay? Over here, because that just means that if there was anything else on the cube that was already solved, you won't be messing it up. Okay. Now you don't need to do that obviously on this first side because you're only doing one side, but it's a useful practice to get into because it makes it easier for the rest of the cube. Again, this is ease rather than speed. What we're talking about here is ease rather than speed. Okay, so to connect those two up, again, this is a technique that's useful for later on in the cube. When you've got other sides that are already fixed. So, because obviously your temptation would be to rotate that around and just slip it up into that hole there. But what I'm doing now here is teaching you good techniques that help you out later in the cube. So what you do here is you take that, those two there, rotate it up into the slot where those two are, then rotate this top layer around so that those two then become here, and you'll see that in a moment, and then rotate these two, which will be back here, back into the slot, okay? So here's what happens, okay? You want to rotate those two up to the top from the front like that, okay? And then rotate the top round so that those two that you've just put onto the top layer are on the right-hand side, and then rotate these two from the left-hand side, reversing whatever you just did, and then that brings those four white pieces back together again. We'll do this a lot as we do the rest of the cube, so you'll see that happen again. But now we have those four pieces all together, and that's fantastic. So then what I do is I then do the yellow side, which we know is the opposite. So you can see that there's no yellow pieces on this side now, but you have to remember that is the side we want to solve, opposite the white. Okay, and what we want to first do is join up two yellow pieces, and you can see we've got yellow piece here, here, and here, center yellow pieces. Okay, There's another one somewhere else, but it doesn't really matter because we're not dealing with that right now. So this is the side we're going to put the yellows onto, with the whites over here. And what we want to do first of all is connect up one of these yellows with this yellow up here. And you can see that if I rotated this one up to here, it would be there. So it would be not matching up as a pair. And if I tried to move this one up to there, it would move that one out of the way. So that wouldn't be a pair either. So what you need to do is rotate this top one round like this. So you can see that now this yellow one here, when I move it up to the top there, it'll connect up and create a pair. Okay, so I'm going to do that now here. Move these two on the right hand side up to the top. Rotate the top layer around to the left like that, so that those two are out of the way, and then bring these two on the right back down again. Okay, so now you have those two connected. And then what I would probably do is, well, sorry, let me just do it again. Because we've got the white side over here, and we want these two yellow ones to be over onto this side here, I'll put them in place, because then it also helps us to remember which side is now the yellow side. Okay, so to get those two, which happen to be horizontal here, up onto the top there, what we'll do is rotate the front face. Well, actually, I'll face this way around because I'm right-handed. If you're left-handed, you might want to reverse these. But you can see that these two now here are on the right-hand side. And again, the white side is here, so we want to put these two yellow ones up to there. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll just rotate these two on the right like this, and then flip the top layer around, so those two yellow ones are now on the right hand side and out of the way. You can see these two white ones need to go back down, so we just reverse that turn that we just did. So now you can see why it's useful to do that move, because those white ones have been preserved and those two yellow ones are now on the top layer. Okay, so now we want to connect up this yellow one with the other center yellow, wherever that's gone. It's all the way around here. Okay, so this is one of those sort of situations where it's slightly annoying because that yellow one's all the way on that side and this yellow one's on this other side over here. But you can imagine that this yellow one here, okay, needs to match up with a yellow one there. Okay, so it's on those, you look at those four there, it's the bottom left corner. Okay, so you rotate this cube round so that this, you can see this face here. Now this yellow one needs to be in the bottom left hand corner like that. Okay, so you just rotate that face around until that piece is in the bottom left hand corner like that. Okay, and now you want that yellow one to go all the way up to here. Okay, so again, this is one of those ones where you have to reverse what you've just done. So remember, so I always tend to hold it so that I know what's going to reverse. Okay, so these two fingers are going to go all the way up to the top like that. Okay, and then you want these two that you just connected up out of the way, so that when you bring this back down again, they'll be out of the way. And so what I'll do is I'll actually, in this particular case, I will move them around to the left like that. So I could have said before that I move them out the way up to here, but it doesn't make any difference because we're just going to bring them back down to where we were before. Okay, so I'm going to bring them all the way back down to the bottom like that. Okay, so now we've got a pair of yellows here and a pair of yellows here. And just double checking, this is the white side. So we want those pair of yellows to go up onto this side up here. Okay, so, and what we do the same thing as we did before. We'll rotate those yellow ones to one side and then rotate these same yellow ones down here to the same side like this. Okay, and then what we're going to do is move those two yellow ones up to replace those two, move these two yellow ones which will go up to there, rotate the top round so that they move to the left, and then those two yellow ones will come back in to the slot like that. Okay, so you go up to the top, move them around to the side, and then bring those two yellow ones back from the back like that. So again, you saw my fingers stayed on the cube in the same place so that I remembered what it was I was trying to reverse out. So now we've got those four yellows there, and we've got the four whites down here. So then we work on the red side. Okay, so now and the red side doesn't matter which side we pick, because I think this is possibly where the parity error comes in. It's like if you don't put it on like the right side. But I don't know, I haven't figured that out yet. I'm still looking to try and find a better way of doing the parity problems at this point. But just pick a side, it doesn't really make any difference. And obviously if you've got two reds that are already connected, that'd be great, but you haven't at the moment. So you just need to pick two reds. There's one there and there's one there, and you want to connect those two up so that they are a pair. And you can quite clearly see that that one will rotate up into that slot there, that hole, connect those two up, and then you want to move them round to the left-hand side here so that you can bring this right-hand side back down again. So you're going to bring the right-hand side up to the top like that, connect up these two here, then move those two out of the way like that, and then bring this right-hand side back down to the bottom. Okay, so you're preserving anything else that was on the cube already. And that'll become very obvious in a moment. You'll see it's very obvious. Okay, so then I want to create another pair between these two reds. So I want to connect that one and that red there. And again, you can see that if I rotated this one up to the top, it would be right here. So you don't want to do that. You want to put it in the slot where that's going to connect up there. So this is a slightly different version. But if you want to keep it the same, you can just say this one, when I rotate up to here, it needs to match up with the red one up here. So I can rotate this red one here, the top layer, around to the side like that. So that piece now will match up with this piece here. So you connect up those again. See how I'm holding the cube like this? So I can go reverse back to where I've just been. So I go up to the top like that, connect those two together, then rotate them out of the way, and then bring these two back down again. Okay, so that's the move there. And now we've got two reds there connected, and we have two reds here that were connected from before. Now we just need to connect those two up again. And we've done this already before. You've got to rotate the two red pieces from this center here, so that they're underneath the two red centers from the top there. Because what we're going to do is we're going to put these two red centers up to the top, rotate them out of the way, and then bring those two centers back down again. Okay, so we put those two up to the top, rotate them out of the way like that, and then bring those two back down from the back rather. And now we've got a red centerpiece completed. Still got the yellow centerpiece over here, and the white centerpieces over here. So now I can hold the cube like this, and you can see again, looking at a 3x3, if I've got the whites on top and the red is facing me, then I've got a blue side on the right hand side over here. So that means I need to create a blue side here. So, and now obviously I've only got one blue piece in place here. But when I look at this cube, you can see, oh, I've already got like three here. And you think, oh, that's really great. It doesn't really help us. So actually what you want to do is, this is the blue side up here. So I'll put two of these up to the blue side straight away. Okay. So like I'll put these two up to the top like that, rotate them around out of the way, and then bring these two side. So bring these two on the left hand side back down again like that. Okay. So now you can see that you've got three sorted out there. It's all very well, but you want this one to connect up with this blue down here. So that doesn't really work, does it? So what you can do, and as you can see, is if I try to rotate this side up, that blue one will be up there. And if I try to move that round to the side like this, then that blue will match up with that one up there, but you're going to mess up this pair here as soon as you do that. So that doesn't help either. So what you really want to do in this particular case is bring this piece down to here to match up. Okay, so it's a slightly different version, but this is why I said it's kind of intuitive. You have to understand how this is working. So I'm going to rotate this front face around like this, and now you can see that this blue needs to match up with that blue there, and we can do that just by bringing it down to the front and then rotating the front like that, and then putting those two back, these two edge pieces, two layers on the left here, back up to the top again. Now I know it's not the most efficient one, so if you're watching this and you're thinking, well, that's not the most efficient way of doing that, I know. That's fine. It's just because I'm showing you principles here rather than speed. You can work out the speed yourself when you start seeing it a little bit later on, but this is the principles behind it. So now we want, again, double check. Here you go. Here's the red side here and white on top. So this needs to be the blue side. So just remember that that's the blue side. So we need to put these two up to the top, replace those two. Those two are going to go to the back there. Then going to rotate them round so that they're over here, and then these two from the back are going to come back in again. So again, holding the cube on the two layers on the right. Going to rotate those two centerpieces up to the top, flip the top layer around without moving my hand, so those two are over out the way on the left hand side now, and then bring these two right hand layers, edges or whatever you call them, back down again to connect up those two that were around the back. So that now we have the four for the centerpieces for the blue sorted out. Now I know this seems like a lot right now, but the more you see this and the more you follow it along, the easier this becomes. Okay, so now we've just got two sides left. We've got the green and the orange side to do now. Again, you just need to remind yourself which side is which. Okay, so the blue is here, so opposite blue is green. Again, on a regular cube, green is there and the blue is opposite. So green and blue are opposite each other. I'm sure you know that if you saw the 3x3 enough times, you just know these things. But just to clarify the point. You can see here, so the green is going to go opposite the blue. So this is where you want the green side to be. So again, just to make it easy here, I'll put and you can see there's a pair here. Now you could find that these two are both separated and so forth, but it's the same principles all the way through. So I always like to put the pair that's already connected onto the correct side, so I know which is the correct side. So again, this time I'll take these two and I'll put them up to the top. Again, gripping with my left hand here, push up to the top without changing my grip, rotate those two around, and then rotate the left hand side two back down again. Okay, so now we've got a pair at the top here. So again, this is a long-winded way around, but it just makes it easier to remember how these things work. So now you want to connect up that single one there and that single one down there. And you can see that if I brought this this green down into this slot here, I would want this piece to be in this hole here. Okay, so what we do is rotate this front face around like that, so that it connects up, so that when I bring this one down from here, it's going to connect up with this one down here. So again, you can see how I'm gripping it with my left hand here. So I'm going to bring this side down, and then I'm going to rotate this side around like this, so that those two green pieces are out the way, and then put those two back where they came from. Okay. Now, obviously that's really important because you want to preserve the blue here, and you want to preserve the red that's on the other side over here. But now you can see that we've got two greens and two greens up here, and we've done this before. So this is why I was showing you earlier on how to do this the way I do it, because it's the slow way of doing it, but it's the way that's easy to remember. So it's easy to put these two green ones with these two green ones up to the top here. So you want this one. So obviously if these two were like this, for example, or on this side, that doesn't work. You need to have the two greens aligned like that to be able to match them up. Then you just double check as well that the blue is on the bottom here. So you want this side to be the green side, just double check that. So then you put these two, see how I'm gripping it with my right hand here, so I can remember how to put it back, although it's quite easy at this point. So we rotate those two green ones up to the top, then move them round so they're out the way, and then bring those two green ones from the back to reconnect up with those two green ones like that. And obviously that automatically solves this centerpiece over here. So we now have the greens in place over here, opposite the blue. That's fantastic. We've solved the oranges, which are opposite the red. Fantastic. And then we've got the white side here, opposite the yellow side. And again, just double checking. You've got white on top, red facing you, blue to the right. Okay. And then so blue to the right, and then green, and orange at the back. So again, if you just double check it with a regular cube, where's the red side? Over here. There you go. So yeah, so you get white, red, blue, and then orange and green, obviously, and then yellow on the bottom. Okay, so that's how you set up the centerpieces right here. So now we've got to pair up these edges. As you can see there, they're not paired up at the moment. This one does happen to be paired up. That's fantastic. But most of them are not paired up at the moment. So now we're going to go through the algorithm on how to pair those up, because that's a little bit tricky, because obviously we also want to preserve these centerpieces as we're doing this as well. And the algorithm obviously allows you to do that. So that's what we're going to do next. Now I'm going to show you the algorithm. Don't get scared. It's not actually that difficult. Okay, so here you go. Matching edges. So it's the top two to the right, then the outside right up, the top layer on its own to the left, then the right edge, the far right edge down, and then the top two layers to the left. Okay, fairly straightforward and simple. However, the important thing to remember here is how to line up and set up these centerpieces, so these edge pieces, so that you can solve, so you're actually connecting them up. Okay, so we'll come back to this in a moment, because the first thing we've got to do is line it up so that we're going to pair them up together. So this algorithm is going to pair up the piece that's here with the piece that's here. Okay, and I'll show you that in a second. So it's this piece here and this piece here is going to line up, but it's also going to, because I'm going to save a bit of time here, because you could just do those two and just do 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, but the algorithm will also pair up those two here as well. It actually will pair up those two over there, but that doesn't really help at all. So you want to make sure that the two pieces here are the same type, and that the color here and here matches up. So you can see this is blue and yellow and blue and red, so that doesn't really work. But I'll show you how to make that work in a minute. And then this one over here needs to match up with this one. This one here needs to match up with this one here. And again, the same thing, this color here needs to be the same color as this color here. So this is yellow and this is white. So that doesn't really help us at the moment, but we'll set that up in a moment and you'll see how that works. And obviously we need to make sure we preserve the centerpieces at all times. So how do we do that? So I always start with just whichever one is this piece here. It doesn't really matter what you're setting up. There are some situations when obviously if you find a pair that are here, then don't pick that. So for example, where was that pair that I had before that was already, there you go, there's a green and white one. It's like there's no point trying to do that because they're already pattern matched up. So just don't worry about those at all. Just pick another side. Here we had orange and white. Okay, so then you've got to go and find the other orange and white. There's only one piece that matches up with this orange and white one. And the way I find is the easiest way to do it is to put your thumb on the one you're looking for. You're looking for orange and white, and then look at the bottom, this one here first, and then this one here, because I tend to not look at these two until much later, and it just happens to be that the first one I looked at was the orange and white. So you can see that's the orange and white there, and it matches up with the orange and white here. Okay, we're going to do this a lot of times, so you're going to see how my other thinking works on this. And what you want this piece, this orange and white piece, to be up into this slot here, and you want this orange edge to be here. Now, obviously, what you initially want to do is you want to just rotate it like that, but of course that's going to mess up this piece here. So what you want to do is move that piece out of the way first. Remember it's up there. Then rotate this front piece around so it's up here, and then bring that piece back down again. Okay, so that piece there, orange and white, was the piece that we were looking at, orange and white, right? And now we've moved this orange and white one up here, and you can see that this orange color here matches up with this orange color here. So these two are going to match up as soon as I do this the first move, because the first move of this one here, top two layers, is to move those two layers together, and you can see that matches up those two like that. Okay, so that's what we're going to do in a minute. But in order to save yourself some time in this one, we may as well set up so that this green and yellow piece has also got its corresponding green and yellow piece up here, and it was going to be green here and green here. Okay, but we need to also make sure that we don't move these two edges that are already set up. So again, I'll grab the two that I don't want to move, right, like this. But before I do that, I just double check I haven't got the green and yellow piece just down here, because that's the place I always miss, because obviously as soon as I do that, it's quite hard to see these ones down here. So green and yellow we're looking for, and I always find green and yellow. So I look down on the bottom first, and you can see it actually is here. But I'll also check here, I'll look for green and yellow, and there's a yellow one. So I would then also just go, okay, that's not the green and yellow, but I've already found the green and yellow anyway. So over here, so that's fine. And as I said before, you'll get used to seeing this in a minute. So this green and yellow one needs to come all the way up to the top again here. And you can see that what you instinctively want to do is rotate it all the way around to the top like that. Okay, but you don't want to do that because that's going to ruin this orange and white piece that you've set up over here. So what you actually do is you move this orange and white piece and this orange and white piece over here. So up like that, so that they're opposite each other, but so that this rotation doesn't affect them. And again, you see if I grab these pieces like this and then turn the piece like this and then don't take my hand off, I'll remember where they are and how they need to go back. And then this edge over here, this layer over here can come all the way around like this and put that green and yellow piece at the top here, and then rotate these back down. Okay, oops, not all the way down, just one rotation down like that. Okay, so there's the orange and white that was there, and there's the orange and white over here. So these two are going to match up, and then we're also going to match up those two there with this algorithm. Okay, so we've got those set up like that, and this is the algorithm that we're going to do. Okay, so let's put that up there a little bit. It's going to be a little bit blurry, but actually maybe I can just stand it up. Yeah, I can stand it up, couldn't I? Is it going to work? Okay, it's a bit blurry. Okay, so it's top two layers, TT to the right, like that. Okay, top two layers to the right. And you can see that matches up these two here. And then the far right edge up to the top, like that. So you're moving those two that you've just matched up to the top, like that. And then you rotate those two, so the top layer here to the left, like that. That's top layer to the right. And then the far right back down again, because you want to, because you can see that you've got these, you see you've messed up the centerpieces here and the centerpieces here. So you want to rotate this right hand side like this, back around, so that these two pieces are going to come back across and to match up with these two over here. So that's the R down, the far right down over here. And then you do top 2 layers to the left. And you can see that as I'm doing that, it's matching up these 2 orange pieces with these 2 orange pieces here to reconstitute my center. But it's also, as you can see there, it also matches up the green and yellow pieces that we set up before. So that's that done. So you can see that the center pieces are all sorted out and all still functioning. We've now matched up the yellow and green here and the orange and white here. Okay, so then we just do that again. So we just keep doing that over and over again. That will be in the description, obviously, that algorithm, but we don't need that anymore because you'll see all that happening again. So once I've done that, I then just find another piece that needs doing, and I can see right away that there's a blue and white piece right here. So I'll rotate the cube around. So that's a blue and white piece. So what color do I need to be over here? This needs to be a blue and white piece with blue here and the white piece that matches up with the blue and the white just there. Okay, so again, I'll put my thumb onto the piece that I'm trying to find rather, blue and white, and then I'm looking on the bottom first, blue and white, blue and white, blue and white. It's not there. So then I'll re-grip it so that that's now with the left thumb, and then look for the blue and whites in the middle layer here. Blue and white, not there. Blue and white, there it is. Blue and white, just there. Okay, so this thumb here is on the blue and white. So I've got the blue and white here, and I've got the blue and white here. And I need to get this blue and white, so this is blue and white here. I need to get this blue and white into this slot here so that it matches up with that blue over here. So actually, if you put your thumb just underneath the blue here, then you can kind of see what you need to get to. So this blue and white needs to come down here. Now, as you can see, that's a fairly simple rotation of this side like this. And it's not going to mess up that one at all. But you've now got that blue and white here. It's going to match up with this blue and white here, okay, when you do that first move. But then you also want to now match up so that you can do it as part of the solve, the orange and green here. So you want the orange and green one to be up the top there. So again, I'll grab that like that, and I'll just double check there isn't an orange and green here. Look for orange and green. There's an orange, blue, so it's not that one there. And then I'll re-grip it with my left hand, orange and green here. And then I'm looking for orange and green here, orange and green. It's red and green, sorry. And then I'm looking on the back here, orange and green. There's orange and green right here. Okay. So now I'm looking at orange and green here, but I want to preserve the blue and white that's here and here. So orange and green. So there you go. So I'm gripping those two now. So this is the bit I don't want to move at this point, but I want this orange and green to go up into that slot there with the orange on top. And you can see that if I did rotate this piece around to the top there, this would actually be in this slot up here. So I'm just going to show you how that works. I wouldn't do it, obviously, but you can see that this is the piece I don't want to mess up. But if I did rotate that like that, that orange and green wouldn't be in the right place. It needs to be here with the orange on top up here. Okay. So I'm going to put those two back. See, orange and green here. Blue and white's ones we want to solve over here. If you do this with a little blue tack, I'll do that in a moment. So you can kind of see what's going on. But so what I want is this orange and green piece to be in here with the orange on top. And so what you need to do is you want to rotate this layer, because it's not going to mess up with these ones over here. This up to the top like this. And now you can see that the orange is on top. And then when I rotate the top layer, not messing around with these two here that I've already got sorted out, the top layer, move around like this, and now you can see that orange and that orange and that green are kind of ready to be solved like that. And then this blue and white here is ready to be solved with this blue and white here. Okay, blue and white here, blue and white here. So the blue tack is definitely going to help on this on the next one. So I'll do that in a second. But okay, so now we want to solve, do that move to solve these two and these two at the same time. So it's the top two layers, as you can see here, and that rotates and matches up that blue and white one there. And then we want to put that blue and white one up to the top layer like that, and then rotate it around towards us, following the algorithm, obviously. And then bring this right-hand side down to put these orange ones, it just happens to be orange again, horizontal, so that then we can bring these top two layers across to the left again, and reconstitute the centerpiece, but also match up these two here as well. So that's the algorithm again. So now we've got two more pairs, the blue and white and the orange and green, now matched up. And now we're going to go on to the next one. I'm going to pause it here while I go and get a bit of blue tack. Okay, so I have some bits of blue tack, as you can see here. I've actually got some white tack and some blue tack, because I figured they'd be useful for denoting the two pairs that we're trying to connect up together. Okay, so find one that's not solved at the moment. So here you go, yellow and red. So we're going to put a little bit of blue tack on the yellow and red piece here, so we can kind of recognize that that's the piece that we're trying to solve the other bit for. So red and yellow. So we're looking for the other red and yellow bit. So I'm looking down here, there it is, red and yellow. So this red and yellow needs to be in this slot here. Oops, sorry. This red and yellow needs this red and yellow here. There you go. It's the blue like that. Needs to go into the slot up here, next to this blue piece over here. Okay. In fact, I'll put the bit of white tack on that blue bit there, so you can kind of see where it needs to go, next to this piece over here. Okay, and now and as you can see, if I rotate that up to like that, that's not in the right place. It needs to be in that slot there. Okay, so that's no good at all. And so what you need to do is just turn it around, basically. And the way to do that is to slip it into the top layer, like that. Okay, and then rotate it around to the back. Again, you'll get used to this once you kind of just need to learn this stuff. And just test around, play around with it and test it. Okay, so it's up here now. And then if we rotate it down to this side over here, like this, you can see this piece over here. And now, when you rotate it back from the back all the way around to here, you can see it now matches up with that white piece there. And it's going to connect with this one over here. So again, I'm going to take that dot off there for now, because you can see that's the yellow and red piece, and it's going to match up with the yellow and red piece here. And you can see the yellows are kind of aligned like this, so that when we turn the top two layers at the beginning of the move, they're going to match up like that. You can see that already straight away. And then we've also got here, so we now got a green and red piece here. So I'm going to stick a little marker on that as well. So that's green and red, that's the white marker on the green and red piece here. And then we're going to go and find the green and red edge piece. Now, because obviously I've got these stickers on here, I don't need to hold them quite so well, but there's the green and red piece here. And then that needs to be up here, in this slot here, with the green on the top, like that, okay? So again, in this situation, you can see that if I rotated this layer, this edge, all the way around to the top, okay, I'm going to see how these are connected here. So just to remember, those are there. And rotate this all the way around to the top, and you can see that would be in the right place if you did that. But as you can see, you've knocked those two pieces out of the way. So what you want to do is rotate those around like that, so they're vertical. Then rotate. Actually, I'll tell you what. Let's do this. This is the piece we want to match up. There you go. So we're rotating these two pieces around like this, so that they're out of the way effectively. And then this right-hand edge, we can now rotate it without messing up the yellow and red pieces that we've already got prepared to match up. And we can rotate this piece all the way around to the top like that, so it's now in the right spot. And then bring these two back around to where they were before. And now again, you can see that these two are ready to be matched, and these two are ready to be matched. Green and green matches up there, obviously red and red there. And then this is the yellow and red here, matches up with the red, yellow and red here. So now we can do the algorithm that we had before, this one here. Top two layers, then the right edge up, top layer on its own to the left, and then right edge down, and then the top two layers to the left. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. I'll just put those up there, so it's a kind of half reminder. So top two layers to the right, like that. You see those match those two up there, like that. Turn the right side to the top, like that. Then the top layer to the left, like that, which is the matched pair that we have already matched up here. Then bring the right hand edge down, which then brings these pieces in alignment, the blue and yellow, so they're going to match. These blues are going to match up back up with these blues in a minute when we do the top two layers to the left. Okay, and as we rotate the top two layers, oops, sorry, that bit of blue tack's in the way. There you go. Top two layers, that white tack. In fact, this is, as you can see, those two are still preserved. The blue comes back to reconnect with the two middle pieces here, and then now the green and red is now connected over here. And so we've solved another two edge pieces. Okay. And take the blues off there. Cool. And now we're looking for another two pieces that need solving. Here we go. We've got the Ukrainian one over here, blue and yellow. blue and yellow, and there it is up there. Okay, so I'm going to put the bit of blue tack on the blue and yellow one. And now we need to put the other blue and yellow piece over to the left here, okay, which is it's over the back here. So we're going to rotate it like that, and then bring it around to the front. And we go, oh no, it's not in the right place. So we've got to do the same moves we did before. So again, let's do that blue piece, let's blue tack that blue. There we go. So that's the piece we're trying to solve. Okay, so that piece now needs to go up into the top layer, rotate it around to the back like that, and then push down like this. And again, you'll just get used to these moves. You can see it's now in the bottom layer here. And then as we bring it all the way around, there you go. It's in the right place, and it's the right orientation now as well. So you've got yellow here and yellow here. So hopefully, now if you're struggling with this, put a comment down below, and I'll see if I can try and clarify it for you somehow. But hopefully I've done it slow enough and enough times that you can recognize what you're trying to do. And realistically, it's just up to you to play around with it and get used to it and practice. Once you get the hang of it, it's really quite simple. We now have a blue and red piece here. There's my blue and red edge piece, and we need to go and find the other blue and red edge piece. I'm going to get the prepared. There you go. So we're looking for another blue and red edge piece. That's blue and orange, and that's blue and red right there. Okay, so we've got blue and red. I'll put that piece on the blue and red. Okay, so these two obviously you want to preserve. We want the blue and red piece to be up there with the blue piece on top, so it matches up with that blue piece there. Blue piece here. So you can see that if I rotate this edge, this right-hand edge, or right-hand edge, if you look at it from this, like up to there, it's going to be in the right place. But that's going to mess up these two here. So what we do is move those two out of the way, which also moves that one out of the way as well. Bring this layer up to the top, so that piece is now in the right place, and then bring these ones back around to where they were before. And again, you can now see that those two white pieces of white tack are connected up, blues and reds. And the two blue pieces of blue tack are also set up with the yellow and blue here and the yellow and blue here. Okay, so now when we do the algorithm, as shown up here, top two to the right connects up the two blue pieces of blue tack, right side to the top, effectively putting the two blue pieces up to the top there, top on its own to the left, which brings the two blue tacks towards us. And then we've got to rotate this right-hand edge so that the center pieces are horizontal again. So we go right edge down like that. And then we're going to be top two layers to the left, which then brings the two white pieces of white tack together, but doesn't mess up the two blues that are already connected. So now we have those two connected, which is ace. Cool. So we take these pieces off now. We've got those connected. And of course the blues are reconnected as well over here. So that's the blue pieces, and now we should have just two pieces left, I think. So what have we got? We've got yeah, okay. So we've got orange and yellow and blue and orange. So I'm going to put the blue piece of blue tack on the blue and orange, which is what we've done before. Then go and find the other blue and orange piece. Okay. Which is there's the blue and orange piece over there. Now you'll notice, those are very observant of you, that we are not going to be able to find the yellow, put the yellow and orange piece up to there, because the yellow and orange piece is connected already to the blue and orange piece. But I'll show you what I'm going to do about that in a minute. But first of all, let's put the blue and orange piece in the right place, because I'm going to explain how you're going to set this up so that actually you can solve it. So first of all, this blue and orange piece needs to go into this slot over here. So we rotate it up to the top like that, and then we're going to go, all the way down. So it's got to go here, is where you're going for. So it lines up with that piece over there. Rotate that around the back like that, and then rotate it all the way to the front like that. And you can see it again, blue and orange here matches up with blue and orange, and that's great. So those two are going to match. But the trouble is, you have an orange and white piece here, like that, and the matching orange and white piece, orange and yellow piece is over here. So as you can see, you can't put that piece up to there because it's connected to this piece over here. So what you do in this situation, I'm glad this happened, because I might have forgotten to deal with this situation previously. Now you remember at the beginning I said that when you've put that piece matches up with that piece, and then this piece matches up with this piece, you'll also find that this piece here also matches up with the piece down here. Okay, so we can use that to our advantage now to set up or break a pair that's already connected, such that when we do the connection again, when we do the algorithm again, it's going to match all three up at the same time, which is what you really want to happen. Okay, so the way to do that is to make sure that none of these match up on this first run through the algorithm. So you don't want this to be orange and blue here. So we can just rotate this up to the top like this, for example. But you also don't want this orange and yellow to match up with this orange and yellow over here. So that's not going to work. So what you basically need to do is rotate those two around. So what you do here is you bring these two down to the back like this, push them up to the top, and then bring them back round again like this. So now you can see that this one would match up with this one, which is a blue and red. So this is orange and blue, and this is blue and red. So they're not going to match up. And this is red and blue and red, and that's not going to match up with the orange and yellow. So that's good. And then we've got an orange, blue and orange over here, which is going to match up with the orange and yellow over here, but they're obviously not going to be a match. So you can see when we do the algorithm, we're going to end up with three sets of pairs which don't match up. Okay, which is exactly what we want, in fact. So we're going to use the algorithm that's over here. I'm going to use the top two to the right. Use the right edge to the top. Use the top to the left. The right edge down, and then the top two layers to the left. Okay, and you can see we've now got a match. These two are matched up, but they're not actually matched up. You can see over here, this white one is over here, and it's on a badly matched pair, and you can see this blue one is also on a badly matched pair. However, we now have orange and yellow down here, and orange and yellow here. But actually what you want to do is you want to go with this one over here, which is the orange and blue over here, because that's the one over here. And you want this orange and blue to want to be down here. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to move that around to the right like this. This one needs to go down into this slot here, but you're going to mess up this. If you just rotate this front edge, you're going to mess that up. So what you're going to do is push these two on the left up to the top. Oops, again up to the top. Again, this is all practice. You just get used to how to do this, just moving things out of the way, and then bringing this one down into the bottom right hand corner here like that. Okay, and then bringing these two back down. So now you can see that this one, blue and yellow, blue and orange, is going to match up with this blue and orange over here. Okay, this is exactly what you want. And now you want this red and blue one to match up, to be up here. Okay, so that's going to be this red and blue. Now I'm not going to move the blue tacks because you'll see why in a moment. So I want to put this blue and red needs to go up to that slot there, which you can do by rotating this whole side again. So you can see that happens correct, but that's going to mess up this blue one I've already got here. So what we do is we rotate this left edge up to the top like that, and then we can rotate this whole side all the way around like this. Okay, so that blue and red one is up here, and then bring these two back down to where they were before. Okay, so we had these two matching up here, blue and orange, and two pieces of blue tack, as you can see, and then we've got this red and blue here matching up with this red and blue here, as we've done before. But now you can see that the orange and yellow over here is also going to match up with the orange and yellow down here. So you can see those two pieces which have the white tack on them, they're going to match up as well. Okay, so and that's all going to happen when we do this algorithm again. So top two to the right, you can see that matches up the two blue tacks. The right hand one up to the top like that, blue tacks towards you like this. Bring these two back horizontal by doing the right down like that, and then doing the top two to the left, and you can see that white is now going to match up with that bit of white tack over here, and we're also matching up the red and blues here like this. So now we have all of the edge pieces matched up just like we want them to be. Okay, so I'm going to take the blue tacks off and the white tacks off. So now we have basically a regular 3x3. Or if you obviously, yeah, bit of imagination. Let's put the red on top. There you go, red on top, with the yellow towards us. Yeah. So you can see we've got the red on top centerpiece there, and we've got the blue centerpiece here, and the yellow centerpiece here. Rotate the cube around. There you go. You got red, green and green here. You've got white and white, there you go, and then of course you've got the yellow, oh sorry, orange on the bottom there as well. And then you'll notice that we've got edge pieces are all connected up. So edge piece there, edge piece there, edge piece there, and edge piece there. And then on the top layer we've got edge piece, edge piece, edge piece, and edge piece. And then on the bottom we've got edge piece, edge piece, edge piece, and edge piece. And then obviously we've then got the four corners here and here. Okay, and then we just solve it like it's a normal 3x3 cube. Except, of course, we might come across one of the parity issues that we talked about before. Now, obviously, I'm going to now show you how I solve the 3x3 using my method. So your method will obviously be potentially very different from this. But I'm going to go through my normal method here. If you want to see that, findyourfire.co.uk/solve the cube. Okay, so I start with the white side on top. And then I get the edge pieces. Obviously, the white cross is what we're doing. So I can see there's a red one there. Put the red one in place like that. And then I know there's got to be a blue one, white blue edge over here. Obviously, this is not quite as fast as I would do it. It's not really the best way of doing it. But so that's the blue in place. And now I know there's got to be a green over here. Here's the white and green. So I'm going to put that in place like that. And I've got a white. Well, you can see like if I rotate these colours around, you can see the reds match up, the blues match up, the greens match up, and now I've just got to do the orange and white. Here it is, orange and white, and then that's got to go around to the top there. Okay, so however you do that, you've now got a white cross on the top, and the colours around the sides match up, which however you do that yourself. And now you've got to do the four white corners is what you're going to be solving right now. And I'm going to show you how I do that, of course. Here's a green corner here. This one needs to go up to that hole there. That's that one solved, and you can see that corner now matches up with the colours there. You've now got another green here, which is going to go into this hole here. So bring this one down, connect them up, and push it to the top. That's great. And then we've got a white here and another white in the bottom somewhere here. White here. Okay, so not worry about that. I'm going to solve this one first. Take that white one out first, and then it's going to go like this into that hole there. Like that. In fact, you can solve the cube here without paying me by following along with what I'm doing here. But this is basically just a 3x3 solve at this point. Okay, so now you can see I've got the top white layer done with the colours all matching around the sides, like that. And now I'm going to do the second layer. Again, I do this with the whites on top. So you may do this differently, depending on how you've learned how to solve the 3x3. That's the red and green piece in place, blue and orange. Again, not the most elegant and the fastest way of solving the cube, I'll admit that, but this is just how I do it, and I found the best way to do it. Blue and red needs to go into that slot there, so yep, the move to do that. There we go. And now we've done the second layer. So you can now see the second layer is done, but it's actually, as you can see, it's actually the second and third layer at the same time. And now I've got to get to the bottom. And actually you can see right away, before I even go any further, that I have what I call an edge parity or a center parity, because when you're doing a normal 3x3, you would not be able to get this pattern here. You would either have just the yellows, you'd have a line effectively, or you'd have a 7. Well, you do like this, wouldn't you? You'd have like a 7 shape on here if you're doing the cross. So I do the cross first, okay? So that's how I'm doing it here. But you can quite clearly see that cross is now not possible on here. So we have a center parity problem, which is this complicated algorithm right here. So we're going to do that now. Since we've got it anyway, and then I'll do it again on a clean cube at the end of this video, because I'm coming up to an hour on this video already. I'm not even sure if YouTube's going to allow me to post a whole hour video, so I may have to break this up into 2 videos anyway, or 2 or 3 possibly. But okay, so we've got center parity, so this is the algorithm we're going to use to solve this. So we're going to hold it again upside down if you're used to using my method, but with the yellow side on top so that we can see the actual parity problem we've got. And then we're going to use this algorithm to correct this situation. So little r is the inner right hand side. It's down towards us. Okay, so we do and the way I do that is to move both of these and then move the right hand one back up again. So you can do it however you want, but I basically put the inner right hand one down 1. And then it's the outer top 2, as you can see there. So that's 2, 1, 2, like I've done there. And then it's the left hand inner, down 1, and then the front 2, left hand inner, up 1, and then the front 2 again. So left hand down. So again, do the same thing. I'll bring it down and then put the outer left one back up again. And then it's 2 on the front. And then it's the left hand side back up, taking the back one then. So again, see how I do that? I do the 2 up and then bring the outer one back down again. And then the front 2 over here, 1, 2, like that. Okay. And then we're going to the right, inner right 2, and then the top 2. So inner right 2, like that. And again, I did the same thing. I did both on the right and then rotated the outer one back again. And then the top layer on its own, 2, 1, 2, like that. Okay. And then we're going to do the right inner up 1, top 2, right inner down 1, and then top 2 again. So right inner up 1, like that. Top 2, right inner down 1, and top 2 again. Okay, so that was this line here. And then we're going to do the front 2, the right inner 2, and then the front 2 again. So we're going to go front 2, 1, 2, right inner 2, and then front 2, 1, 2. Okay, so that's that algorithm all the way through. Hopefully you followed that, and now you can see that we've now got a line here, which is no longer, we've fixed the parity, the center parity or edge parity at this point. Okay, so now we can carry on solving the cube like we normally would do. Create the cross on the bottom is how I would do it. So again, you can see how I would put the white on top straight away. And I would just do this move, which then puts the cross on the bottom like that. And then I've got to line up the colors. So again, I do it slightly different than most other people. I would do the red. I line up the red. This is not how I would normally do it anyway, but you can see the red and green are matched up. So now I need to swap those two over here. So swap those 2 edges. That's what I would do at this point. Like that. Okay, so those 2 have been swapped. And you can see that these 2 are matched up. So now we have the cross on the bottom. And all the colors are lined up. Here, 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 and here. So now we just got to do the 4 corners. And again, this is my method of doing this, not necessarily the same as everybody else's. And the first thing I spot is that blue one there, so I can move this piece down to there and solve that. And here's the move that I use to do that. I'll bring that right hand side and bring this one down. So those of you who've solved it the way I'd solve it will recognize this. Move those to the side, put those on the right, bring them back across, put that up to the top, move that one in, bring those 2, you connect it back up again. Fantastic. So that corner is now solved. Okay. I'm pretty sure I've got a corner parity here, which is really cool, but we'll see. Anyway, that corner is now solved. So I now want to solve one of the other 3 corners here. And I'm going to say this one here is going to go into this slot over here. Okay. It's not the most elegant solve from a pure how do I teach it perspective. But again, this is when I'm sorry, let's just do it the right way around. This way, then this one down, then these around, put those 2 up. This is for anybody who's solved the cube using my method. You'll recognize the move that I just did there. Okay, which has now solved this corner over here. Yeah, and we're okay. We're solvable from this perspective. I'm going to do it the slow way. There is a faster way of doing it from here. I'm not sure if that's in my algorithm, in my training program. If it isn't, I probably will put it in there eventually, how to do it faster. But I'm going to move this piece down to here and then back up again, which is going to solve that corner. And I'm just going to have those last 2 corners to solve. Okay, so that's this move to the right. Sorry, again, I'm not showing you the fastest way to do this, or sorry, the most memorable way of doing it. Bring this side down, then also bring this side down, move those to the side, put that to the top, bring it back round, put these 4 to the top now, not the 3 that I normally talk about, then move this one back out of the way and slip it into that hole, reconvect those 2 like that. Now that's put that corner fixed, so now we just have these last 2 to do. So anybody who's done my course will recognize this position here. So now what it just needs to do is put that one down to there and then back up again, and it will solve the whole cube. Okay. So we do this down again, these down again, rotate it around to the right, put these 3 to the top, bring those ones back away from underneath the thumb, put these 4 back up to the top, and then put this one into that hole there. Move them out of the way, bring them 3 to the top, reconnect it, put them back up to the top. Rotate the cube around to the left and then do the same move, but going that way. Bring these 3 down, bring these 3 down as well, 4 down, sorry I should say. Rotate these around to the left, put those 3 back up to the top, bring those 2 round from underneath the thumb, put those 4 back up to the top, and we've got to put this white one back up into that hole there. Out of the way, bring the hole down, slip it into the hole, and then put those 4 back up to the top. And what you'll find is you've solved the whole cube. So that is the 4x4 solved in 1 hour and 5 minutes from end to end. However, I haven't shown you how to do the corner parity algorithm. So I'm just going to go and do that now. So let me just, in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create the corner parity and then solve the corner parity, which gives me an opportunity to do this algorithm twice. Here we go. So here we go. It is, because it's a really easy one, which is nice. So I'm going to do it on the yellow side because that's normally where you would find the corner parity problem. So yeah, let's just put that just there. Okay, so it's the right inner 2, and then the top on its own 2, and the right inner twice again, and then the top 2 layers twice, and then the right inner again, and then the top 2 layers twice. Okay, that's going on there. So right inner 2, like that. Top on its own here, 2. Right inner 2, and then the top 2 layers. Right inner 2 again. So, and then the top 2 layers. Okay, and what you'll also notice is that when I'm just doing that version of it, it also messes up the edges here. So if you were going to do this again, you'd have to solve the whole bottom layer again to see the corner parity over here. Which should I do that? Yeah, I'll do that so that you can see what that looks like. Okay, so I'm gonna solve this bottom cube. Yeah, I might as well go through that now. I'll pause the video for this though, so you don't have to watch me doing another 3x3 solve at this point. Okay, bear with me for a second. Okay, so we're back, and I have now solved the rest of the cube, as you can see here. So we now quite clearly got a corner parity going on here because, again, as I said at the beginning, I would expect this one to be yellow if I was solving with this corner to the right, or I would be expecting this one to be blue if I was solving this one to the right. This cube is unsolvable in its current state, so you have to do this corner parity thing in order to solve these 2 corners, and then you can solve the cube again. And as you'll see, so I will actually solve the whole cube all the way through this time so that you can actually see what's going on. But I'll do this move first, which then solves this corner parity problem, and then you've got to solve the whole bottom layer again. So I'm going to do it with the yellow on top so that we kind of familiarity. So it's the right inner 2, and again, just watch what I'm doing with the right inner 2. Okay, so I'm bringing both of the right edges or layers, whatever you call them, all the way down to the bottom, and then bringing the right hand outer layer back up to the top again. So that's why I'm doing the yellow down to the bottom, and then the right hand side all the way back up to the top again. You can tell because it's the yellow one is back up onto the top here. So that was R2 here, and then T2, which is just the top layer on its own, 2, which you can just do with a finger move like that, and then R2, which is again is the inner 2. So I'm going to bring this yellow down to the bottom, and obviously this yellow I'm going to go down to the bottom and then bring it back up again. So this yellow all the way to the bottom, and then bring that yellow all the way back up to the top again. So this yellow is back up on the top again. And you'll notice that this is still yellow, but that's because of part of what you're doing. And then it's the top 2 layers, 2. So again, I'll use a finger movement on that, just by pushing on the second layer down, 1, 2, and then the right again. So now we've got those white pieces now going to go all the way to the bottom. So it's going to go all the way to the bottom, and then bring the yellow pieces back up to the top again. And then it's the top 2 layers again, 1, 2, like that. Okay, so that has now fixed the corner parity, but it's not particularly obvious because, you know, obviously everything else is messed up. That's orange on red here, and that's red on orange over here. So we now got to go and solve the bottom layer again. So I'll do the cross, so line up the colors on the cross. So actually we were showing before, it's probably the easiest way of doing it. Actually, to make a difference, is it because these are opposite sides, need swapping. So that's what I'll do here. Swap these 2 round, the red and the whatever it was, no matter. But I just know this. You do this twice, and then that puts them back again. So yeah, red and green matched up here, and the orange and blue are matched up here. So now we just need to do this last 4 corners again. And yep, this orange one is going to go down to here and solve it. So you'll see this move, I've done it already before. Bring those 4 down, not 3. Bring these 4 down as well. and then rotate those underneath the thumb, put the 3 on the left up, bring those 2 from underneath the thumb again. This corner's going to go into that slot there, but they're going to put those 4 up to the top first, and then put this one into that hole. So solve that hole. Boom, 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 boom. Yay! So now this corner is solved, and then we're going to do one of the other corners. Okay, so this, this is kind of annoying. This corner here needs to go down to here and then rotate it back again. So I'll do this cold. So this is going to go, rotate this down, bring these 4 down, rotate those underneath the thumb, put those 3 to the top, bring the 2 whites from underneath the thumb, put those 4 back to the top, put this white into that hole, like this, like that. And then this one now needs to go across to here. So we're going to do the same move again. These 4 down, hold with the thumb like this, bring those 4 down, sorry, then rotate these 2 out of the way. Forgot which way I was doing this now. I'm so used to doing it with muscle memory. Put those 3 back up to the top, bring those 2 from underneath the thumb, put these 4 back up to the top, and then put that corner back into that hole there by moving it out the way underneath the thumb, bring the hole down, put it into the hole, and slop it back up to the top again. So now these 2 corners are solved, and we just have these last 2. And you can see this is not a corner parity because I can hold it like this, and this is red, and the bottom is red here. So you can see I can solve this corner now, so it's not the corner parity anymore. Again, however you solve the 3x3, you'll know when you come across a situation where it can't be solved. But now I know I can solve it from here. Now, obviously, I've got the orange side on top because, again, I know that I can do it from here with the same 2 moves. So bring these 3 from the top, then also bring these 3 down on the right-hand side underneath the thumb. Then rotate the 2 oranges underneath the thumb, put those 3 to the top, bring those 2 oranges back away from underneath the thumb, put those 4 oranges to the top. Then this one orange one needs to go into that hole there. So underneath the thumb, bring the hole down, reconnect it, put those 3 back up to the top, rotate the cube around, and now we're going to solve it this way around, and it'll be solved, basically. Bring these 4 down from the top. Again, if you want to know how to solve the 3x3, that's on my other videos, which is a paid-for course, I admit. It's only $9 though, so £9, I think, actually, if you want to see that whole thing through. But you should know how to do a 3x3 if you're trying to do a 4x4, really. Okay, so, and then bring these 4 down over here, rather. Rotate these bottom 2 along underneath the thumb, put those 3 back up to the top, bring the 2 around from underneath the thumb, reconnect those 4 there, put those 4 back up to the top. And this orange one needs to go into that hole up there, which you move underneath the thumb, bring the hole down, reconnect it with the 3 there, put it up to the top, and now we have solved the cube. There you go. That is the 4x4 solved from beginning to end with all the explanations, including the parities, in 72 minutes. Yay! It was a bit of a marathon session, but hopefully that was enough to teach you everything you need to know. If you did get stuck with anything, let me know in the comments below, and I'll put another video together to explain it a little bit further. But hopefully that's absolutely everything you need to know to solve the 3x3. Oh, sorry, the 4x4. And the 3x3 if you like. Okay, cool. That's all from me. I do have a 5x5. It's a whole other video. It's very, very similar though, to be fair. The only difference, I'll just briefly talk about the 5x5 for a second. Because why not, since you're in here. So here is a 5x5. The great thing about 5x5 is you know the colours of the centre pieces because it has proper centre pieces again on a 5x5. The way you do the centres is very similar, but you do like these 2 white pieces here. First of all, so you pair these ones up, and then you pair these ones up, and then you pair these ones up, and you build that 3x3, and then you pair up the 3 here, and then you obviously do the same thing to build up the one side by using in the similar way that we did with a 2 and a 2. We just put the 3 in. It's like a 6 and a 3. It's the same, basically the same method. And then we triple up, I suppose, these edges, and it's basically the same move as we did before, except we're matching up this one with this one, and this one with this one, and then we just rotate the cube around, and then we've now got a pair. So then it's like there's a pair. So you rotate it around. So these are the 2 that you've matched up. You rotate it around, and then this pair is now matching up with this one over here, and then this one is matching up with actually it's the centerpiece up here. Sorry, centerpiece up here. So then those 2 become matched up, and then you create a 3 again. So it's basically the same thing. And then eventually you've got a centerpiece with edge pieces around the outsides, and then all the corner pieces. So that's basically it. So that's how you do a 5x5. Basically, it's much the same process. But let me know if you need another 5x5 tutorial, and I will do that later on. Take care. That's all from me. Bye for now.